Hello, we're here with, this is Sean. He's one of my students, and he's going to be demonstrating some of the frames that we can jog the robot in. So we've discussed all the different coordinate frames of the robot, the world frame, the joint, the user, the tool frame, and we also showed you how to set up the user frame for a different configuration. Right now, we're going to just go through different methods of jogging. So Sean, go ahead and put the robot in the joint frame. So he's using the coordinate button here, and he has us now in joint frame. So go ahead and talk about the speed. What speed do you think we should start jogging at? What's a good safe speed?
20.
20%? Okay, so you want to start at a low speed, 10 or 20% when you're first jogging, especially when you're getting used to jogging. So why don't we, let's go to 10% first and jog it with joint 1. So show us how to jog joint 1. Okay, now go the other way. So notice joint 1 is only jogging the base joint, which is joint 1 in the robot, and you jog one joint at a time in this mode. So go ahead and try joint 2. Okay, go the other way. So then you have the next joint up would be joint 2. Now we're going to go to joint 3, which is at the shoulder of the robot. Alright. Now try joint 4. And joint 5. So joint 5 would be the robot's wrist. Okay. And then finally joint 6 would be just to rotate the tool on the robot. Okay, so that's joint mode. And notice that Sean has the dead man switch. You have to have the dead man switch engaged, and you have to hold down the shift key to jog the robot. So now we're going to demonstrate jogging in world mode. So Sean, where do we say the origin is for world mode? The center of the robot, right? So it's on joint 1 at the height of joint 2. So go ahead and jog the robot in world mode on the X axis. Okay. Why don't we bump the speed here to 20%, and so you can see a little motion. Now go with negative X. Notice negative X is back towards the robot. So what's the rule called, Sean, for these coordinate systems, remember?
Three-hand rule.
Right, yep, right hand rule. Right hand rule. So we have right hand rule. X is straight out from the robot. Y is represented by this finger pointed towards us, and Z is up and down. Let's go ahead and jog it in the Y direction. Yep, it's going. Go to the negative Y. Now try positive Z. And negative Z. Okay, and then we have pitch rule, and y'all go ahead and jog it with pitch around the x-axis. Notice it pitches the tool around the x-axis of our work coordinate system. Now try y'all. So we can position and orient the tool wherever we want to in world mode by using those jog keys, the orientation keys and the positioning keys. Alright, so now I want you, Sean, to jog it in world mode to the corner of our box there. So go ahead and zoom in, you can see him. Move it to the corner of the box. So use your world jogging skills. So he's using negative Z to bring the tool down to the corner of the box. There you go. little bit lower. -1. That's good. So earlier we defined a user frame oriented around this box. So now Sean's going to jog. He's going to shift the frame to user frame. Again, we're using the coordinate key to toggle through the different frames. We're now in user. Now hold down shift and push coordinate while holding down shift. Hold down shift and push coordinate button. There you go. So we can see which user frame we're in. We're now in user frame 1, which is what we want to be in because that's the one we defined. So go ahead and jog it in a positive X. You can bump up the speed to, let's bump it to 25%. So he's going to now jog it in a positive X, and watch how the tool moves on the robot when we jog it now in the user frame. You see it move along the edge of the box. So the user frame is useful if you have some kind of an object in your work cell that you want to jog in reference to. You want to create a user frame reference to that, that geometry, and now he's going in the positive Y direction. So it has the same right-hand rule, the same coordinate system, but now reference, instead of from the robot and world, we're referencing a user-defined origin, which is now our box. And that's the positive Z and negative Z. So let's jog it a little bit higher there. The last thing we want to show you is tool frame. So do you remember, Sean, what our coordinate system reference point is for tool frame?
The base plate.
Exactly. We haven't defined a tool center point yet, so the default tool center point is going to be the faceplate of our robot. So in tool mode, tool frame, let's see how it jogs. He's shifting it to tool frame, tool 1, and go ahead and jog the robot in the positive X. Okay, we can see it's moving kind of similar to world in a line directly out from the robot. Now shift to positive Y. Bump up the speed a little bit to 25. Now notice now in tool frame, the positive Y is moving the opposite direction it did in world frame. That's because we've rotated our right-hand rule. So now we're defining it from the faceplate of the robot, but our X is still straight out, but our Y is now pointed in the opposite direction. So that means our Z is oriented away from the faceplate. So if he goes, go ahead and shift it in positive Z. Now positive Z is moving down because it's moving towards the work. So in tool frame, your coordinate system is reversed or rotated such that the Z is pointed away from the tool or towards the work, away from the faceplate of the robot. So those are the main jogging methods. You have your joint method, which jogs one joint at a time. You have your world coordinate system, which is reference to the robot, a user that a user can define, and then we have our tool frame, which jogs the robot in reference to the tool.